So today we're going to learn a little bit about the brain. It's really important for us to know how the brain works and how this can help us and how we can use this information to improve our mental health together. So one of the things I want to explain to you is that your brain believes whatever you tell it. So anytime you're talking to yourself or you're having those thoughts, whatever you're saying, your brain believes that. That's what it takes as reality. That's what it believes because you're telling it that. So we have to be careful with the thoughts that we're telling ourselves. So on average, a person has 60,000 thoughts per day. I feel like I definitely have more, maybe about 1 million. But on average, we have 60,000 thoughts per day. And the majority of the thoughts we have today are going to be the majority of the thoughts we have tomorrow and the next day and the next day and so on. So essentially, if you don't make any changes today, we're going to continue to have the same day over and over again. Essentially, we're reliving Groundhog Day, right? One important thing I want you to also know is our thoughts become our words become our actions, and our actions become our habits. So if you have any bad habits that you'd like to change, you actually have to start at the very beginning, and it starts with your thought process. And we love that saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So I know that's annoying, but it's actually so true. We can't get frustrated, which we do. We get frustrated with ourselves because nothing's changing. And literally the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. Sound familiar? Yes. Okay, so anytime our brain has repetitive thoughts, it is creating a neural pathway, right? So just like anything else, there's almost like a domino effect. Anytime you have these thoughts, it's usually something your brain always has or can commonly have, any repetitive thoughts or any ruminations or anything that you think frequently, so whether that be positive or negative, your body strengthens the connection of the neural pathways in that thought. So essentially, the analogy that I like to use, which is very, very common, is think of it as if you're cutting through the woods. If you cut through the same path over and over and over again, that ground is going to become impacted, and that's the path. And that's an easy path for you to take. And the same thing goes with our thoughts, right? Our brain, anytime we have thoughts or something occurs, our brain will automatically go down that path because that path is visible, it's beautiful, it's easy to cut down, right? And that's essentially what a neural pathway is. So if we want to change that, we have to change our thoughts, right? So one of the things we can do to help ourselves with this is when we have these thoughts that we don't like or are negative, we want to challenge them, right? Because we want to change our thought to be something nicer or kinder than what we were thinking to ourselves previously. So if you're talking negative of yourself, one, your brain's going to believe it, and two, you're going to continue to have these bad thoughts until you change that. Now, picture you're cutting through the woods and you always take that path with your thought. You always jump to the negative first thing. Your brain shoots down that easy path. If you're going to change your thought process, instead of taking this easy path, you have to change direction and you have to cut through the shrubs, the bush, and all the thorns on this side. At first, it's going to be hard. Yes. If you continue to take that path, it will eventually get impacted like the other path, and it will get easier to walk down. When you continue to go this way and you change your thought process, what will happen over here is this path, because you're not using it anymore, will start to grow, and the bushes and the trees will start to cover it, and the grass will start to grow back, and that path won't be as easily accessible to your brain. And that's the same thing. We can constantly reprogram and change our brain and our thoughts and how we see reality and how we see ourselves. And that's called neuroplasticity, our brain's ability to change. That's amazing. And that's what I mean when you have your brain is a computer and you can change it at any time. Think of it as like your brain is like your desktop, right? If every time you open up your computer on your desktop and all the icons you see is trauma, the worst thing that ever happened to you, everything that makes you cry, everything that makes you sad, all your failures in this folder, that's what you're going to constantly focus on. If you have a beautiful computer desktop background like mine, it's positive. That's something you open all the time. It's a reminder. So we want to do the same thing, right? We want to think nice thoughts about ourselves. And this is how we can use our brain to our advantage. it literally believes what you tell it. So if you tell your brain, I'm a badass bitch and I'm gonna crush today, you will crush today. And it's kind of like the lens I like to explain to people. You can either put on your glasses today for a positive, and your brain will look for everything that's positive and amazing that's matching your thoughts, right? Because our brain's always trying to prove that information to us and prove that it's right, so to speak, or that you're right, because it believes whatever you tell it. So it's going to believe that. Or you can put on your negative glasses and see the negative in everything and how everything is bad and nothing is working out for you. So whatever you ask your brain to show you, it will. So let's use our brain to our advantage. So that's a little bit about the brain and how we can use it to help each other, help ourselves, and get through this stuff and heal. So that's a little bit about your brain, and thank you for coming, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.